Andrew, you're live on News Now. Hi.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
You probably covered most of the information already. Are there any questions
Well,
that you want to ask from out here? I mean, really the information that we have hasn't changed since earlier today, although all the students are now gone. Parents have picked them up. It's empty on campus now. All that's left are now police investigating the scene. And we know that there will be grief counselors available for students who need them.
right.
In terms of the facts of what happened, right now all we know is what we've been reporting all day, that around 8:45 this morning, the school resource officer here on campus was alerted to a student with a gun. And that school resource officer and some staff members found the student outside the gymnasium with that gun. And it was apparent to them that he was distraught and looked like he was about to commit suicide, or at least threatening to commit suicide. According to Tempe police, the school resource officer tried to talk the student out of committing suicide. Obviously, that was unsuccessful. And then once that happened, the school went into lockdown. Actually, I'm joined right now by Tempe Police Sergeant, correct? Yes. Lieutenant, excuse me, Scott Smith. Scott, what can you tell us about the student? Anything you can tell us?
Yeah, at this point, we have made next of kin notification. Student has been identified as 18-year-old Marcus Wheeler. He's a very popular student here. This is a very tragic incident impacting a lot of people. We have our detectives still on scene that are investigating and piecing together, what precipitated this. Just to recap, at about 8:49, our school resource officer, who's based here on campus, received reports from staff members that they believed there was a subject on campus with a gun. That immediately resulted in a lockdown of the campus. School faculty, staff, students acted perfectly in this incident, according to plans and things of that nature. Our officer responded, called for additional units to assist. She did locate Marcus. He did have a gun. This occurred in the southern portion of campus, kind of away from the main areas, in an exterior type hallway. There were no other students around from what I'm being told, and it was kind of isolated to that part of campus. Our officer, attempted to engage Marcus in conversation, convince him to put down the weapon. Unfortunately, despite the efforts, he made the decision to give himself a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Our officer immediately transitioned into life-saving mode, trying to provide life-saving efforts and support to him, treatment, as well as the backup officers and Tempe Fire Medical Rescue Department. Unfortunately, despite the efforts of all public safety personnel who responded, Marcus did succumb to his injuries. Like I said, it's a tragic scene. We're trying to piece together, what precipitated this. Grief counselors and resources to students, faculty, and staff are being made available by the Tempe Union High School District. We have partnered hand in hand with them, not only throughout this incident, but prior in trainings and protocols, procedures, things of that nature. Once the incident occurred, the campus, like I said, was already in a lockdown, but we kept that lockdown in place, not because students were at risk, but it helped us control the campus so that we could maintain the integrity of the area where it occurred. Tempe Police and Tempe Union High School District worked very quickly to put a transportation plan in place, and by 10:15 students were released from campus. They made arrangements for those students who utilized the bus to have buses here for them to take them back home. The LDS church down the way and the church right here, Arizona Community Church, were partners in helping us manage the logistics of this. They offered their parking lots and facilities to first responders and parents in the school as well. So we'd like to thank them for their help and support. It's a tragic incident, one that no one ever wants to deal with or be confronted with. Our officer is a veteran officer, and like everyone else, police officers are parents, their fathers, their mothers, their family members, and so this is probably one of the worst types of calls a police officer can respond to and deal with and try and remedy, especially if it happens right in front of them.
Do the school resource officers receive training in a situation like this?
All police officers receive training in how to handle critical incidents. Our officer responded appropriately, and she did a good job. It's unfortunate the circumstances and how they turned out, but that's why having a school resource officer on campus is a good thing.
We discussed earlier, and I know they've been discussing it online about the tweets that were sent out by Marcus beforehand, and we know that there was one tweet that sent out about a suicide on campus about 9 minutes before it happened. What can you tell us about what was said on social media and the reaction to it?
Sure. I have very preliminary information at this point. In fact, it was just confirmed to me that a tweet through social media was sent out by in Marcus's account. It's understood Marcus was probably the one that sent that out. But essentially, it was notifying that there was going to be a suicide on campus. That happened before the incident occurred, and we're still looking into the context of that and when it was sent, things of that nature. So, very early on in the investigation, very preliminary where we're at. It's going to take some time to put a full picture together as to what occurred. The message that we want to drive home is, it's very sad, very tragic. Take some pause and take care of one another. Talk to your loved ones, talk to your friends, make sure that everyone's okay. School's going to have grief counselors here and for counseling and staff members here today and tomorrow. But if you think there's someone in crisis, get that person some help. Talk to them. There are plenty of resources out there in every community, including the web, websites, things like that. Connect people up with some help. People deal with stress differently. We are living in stressful times. It's a very, very go, go, go type of society, and sometimes people just need some help. So, we need to take care of one another in these stressful times.
Obviously we're dealing with a suicide here, but from your perspective, what do you guys look for when you're piecing together why this happened? What are some of the things you're going to be looking for?
We're going to be looking pretty much at everything. We're going to dissect this thing as best we can. History, communication, anything he said to other people. Conduct a full, detail-oriented police investigation to try and reconstruct what happened and what led up to the situation here. But it's early on, and it's going to take some time to put together.
Thanks, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it. So that was from Tempe Police Lieutenant Scott Smith, and I know he was talking a lot about prevention and things that we can do, and I just want to mention here there is always help available. You can call Teen Lifeline. The number is 602-248-8336. They're there for any problems that a teen might have, including, situations like we saw here at Corona del Sol today. Again, that number is 602-248-8336. Back to you, Samya.
All right, Andrew, thanks for that update.